All right, let's talk about something that is changing for pretty much every single one of us, how we find stuff online. The entire system that we've relied on for decades is being rebuilt from the ground up. So we're going to break down what's happening, why it's such a big deal, and what might be coming next.
You know the phrase, right? For more than 20 years, just Google it has been the answer to, well, pretty much everything. It's so much more than a brand name. It's the cultural shorthand for finding knowledge. It literally defined our relationship with information.
But that whole era, it's ending. There's a new force in town, generative AI, and it's not just making a few tweaks here and there. It is fundamentally rewriting the rulebook for how we discover anything and everything. Okay, so to really get where we're headed, we have to first understand where we've been. Let's start with the system we all grew up with, the old guard, traditional search.
I mean, the system behind search engines is a genuine marvel of engineering. It really boils down to 3 key steps. First, it's constantly crawling the web, like a spider, to discover every page out there. Second, it indexes all that content, putting it into a gigantic, organized library. And finally, when you type in a question, it ranks all those results to give you the most relevant links. It's a living map of the internet.
And you can't deny its strengths. It's given us access to a practically infinite library of human knowledge. It's always being updated with the latest news and information, and, this is a big one, it gives you a list of sources, so you have the power to compare them and decide for yourself what's true.
But for all that power, the system has some serious cracks in its foundation. See, a traditional search engine doesn't truly understand the content on a page. It relies on signals, or proxies, things like keywords and how many other websites link to it. And a system based on signals can be gamed. This led to the entire industry of search engine optimization, or SEO, and unfortunately, it also swings the door wide open for spam and manipulation.
So those vulnerabilities created the perfect opening for a totally new way of doing things. And that's when the great disruptor showed up, the AI-powered answer engine.
This right here, this is the fundamental, game-changing shift. Instead of giving you a list of links, a map to help you find an answer, AI cuts out the middleman. It synthesizes all the information out there and generates a single direct answer just for you. It's the difference between a librarian and the answer itself.
And the power of this approach is pretty incredible. These models can understand context and nuance, not just keywords. They can take super complex subjects and just summarize them for you instantly. And you can have a real conversation with them, a back and forth where you refine what you're looking for. It just feels so much more natural. But, and this is a huge but, there's a massive catch. It's a problem called hallucination. This is when an AI just makes things up. It presents completely false information, but says it with the absolute confidence of a world-renowned expert. And it's one of the technology's most dangerous flaws.
And the weaknesses don't stop there. An AI's knowledge is frozen in time. It's based on the data it was trained on, so it can be hopelessly out of date. On top of that, any biases, blind spots, or weird quirks in that training data can easily show up in its answers. So it's pretty clear that AI isn't some perfect replacement either.
Which brings us to the biggest question of all. If the old search system is vulnerable and the new AI challenger is unreliable, what happens next? Are we just trading one set of problems for another? Well, it turns out the answer isn't about one of them winning. It's about how they're coming together.
So this is the really cool part. The future isn't a battle of search versus AI. The real revolution is in how they're being integrated. It's this unlikely alliance where each technology happens to solve the other's biggest problems.
And that synergy is incredibly powerful. Think about it. Search connects AI to the live, real-time web. That grounds the AI in up-to-the-minute facts, which massively reduces those dangerous hallucinations and keeps its knowledge fresh. And in return, AI gives search the ability to understand natural language, to get what you mean, not just what you type. And it can synthesize all those blue links into one clean, direct answer. It's an amazing partnership.
But this powerful team-up isn't a perfect fairy tale. In fact, this convergence creates a whole new category of system-wide risks for the entire internet.
First off, there's a huge economic threat. If the AI gives you the answer right there on the search page, why would you ever need to click through to the publisher's website? These are called zero-click answers, and they could starve content creators of the traffic they need to survive. This threatens the very ecosystem of writers and publishers that produces the information the AI needs in the first place.
And then there's this other, more existential threat. It's called model collapse. Think about it. What happens when the next generation of AI models are trained on an internet that's flooded with content written by today's AIs? The fear is that they'll just be learning from their own flawed reflections. It's like making a photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy. The quality degrades each time, potentially poisoning our entire well of information.
So all of this brings us right here, to this moment. Because understanding all these shifts isn't just a fun tech debate. We are standing at a critical digital crossroads, and the choices that companies are making right now will absolutely shape the future of how we all find information.
When you pull it all together, the big takeaway is clear. Search is no longer just a simple gateway to a list of websites. It's evolving into a complex nexus of discovery. This new space where our human questions, powerful AI, and the very structure of our society all collide.
And that leaves us with one final big thought to chew on. For 20 years, we used search to find answers. But now, as search increasingly becomes the answer, the new challenge is going to be this: who are we going to trust to ask the right questions in the first place?